It's your summer. What TheVerd is barbecuing.
G'day jabronis, it is TheVerd, back with you again, and we're doing something we haven't done for a while, and this is kind of more leading up to the fact that I do have the NPL coming up soon, where there is going to be a rule, I believe, and I also think a rule in the UBC, where I need to be showing team builders for my matches before my battles, and so I thought I'd just get in the habit of doing that now. And the reason why I kind of want to do it too for the CPC for these last few weeks is because these are matchups. Basically my last 4 weeks, or last 3 of my 4 matches are rematches against the guys in my division, so I feel doing team builders now is not too bad, because it means some of the sets perhaps that I used that I found effective last time, I can use them again without giving them away, and I'd really like to do that. But yeah, just a quick little precursor. After this week, when I get to week 10 against the I believe they're called the New Jersey Licky Lickies. Togue unfortunately has to drop out, so Halu's there. Against them, I actually will no longer have Rotom. So one of the rules that the CPC has apparently, that I found out about while I was asleep, I thought, and I was told, that if I miss a upload day, I would lose a point, which would have sucked, but like, life kind of takes precedence before Pokemon, and unfortunately, 2 times this season I have missed the upload deadline by 1 day, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna lose a point, it's fine, I'll just sleep it off and it'll be good tomorrow. And I wake up to a message from Shadow saying, no, we've changed it because you have no transactions, which doesn't really correlate to points. They decided to get rid of my lowest valued Mon, so rest in peace Rotom. So annoying, yes, because Rotom was such a good member for us this season. I really enjoy using it, like budget electric, it's amazing, but at the same time, with the current state of the CPC when it comes to potential playoffs, it's probably a blessing in disguise, because right now, guys, we are in a very, very good position to make playoffs, despite the kind of bullshit ride we've been on. We're currently 4-4. Now, Halu, who has taken over what the Portland team was, these New Jersey Licky, they were 3-4 heading into the last week, and now they are 3-5. They lost. So, we're a game above them. Shadow, I believe, is 2-6, and the only way that he can really qualify now is if Halu and I keep losing and he wins out. He would need to win his last 4 games. I don't really want to see that happen, and basically I can kind of stop Shadow's chances of making it by beating him this week. Now I play Halu the week after, so Halu's 1 game behind me, Shadow is 2 games behind me, as far as I'm aware. I'm just going to quickly, because it might show it on the screen, yeah. Look at the CPC sheet real quick, go to the main screen, and yes, so as you can see there, I'm 4-4, currently in the final wildcard slot. Licky Lickies are right behind me. They actually did lose though, and they lost like 4-0, so they're a -6, so I've actually got a bit of an advantage over them. And then Shadow's obviously at -13, so the basic ball game is if I beat Shadow, I go to 5-4, he goes to 2-7, and even if he wins out and I lose out, I think he would have to win out big, so I think I can hold him off if I win. And then if Halu can't get a result the week after, or even if he does, best he can go to here is 4-5, I'm at 5-4, and again, because the differential is so different between Halu and I, if I can beat Halu the following week, then I should basically secure playoffs. I'm not probably going to be able to catch Turk from here, I don't think I'll be able to. It's close between us, but he would have to lose his next few games. He is playing Yost again, so he may lose that one, and that would make it interesting, although, as you can see, differential-wise, I'm very much far behind, so Turk would have to lose his next 3 games in order for that to happen. But regardless, we're going to get into the team build now, because it's been 4 minutes, but I kind of just want to catch you guys up on that. So, despite the hacks and the annoying stuff that's happened this season, and the rule breaking and all this other stuff, the Adelaide Zydingos are still a very good chance, and currently are more favourable to make it into playoffs. All we have to do realistically is just win our next 2 games, and so this first one against Shadow is really important, because Shadow is the main reason why we are -2 differential. We got 6-0'd by him last time. Most of the game, we were dominating it. We were doing an amazing job, and unfortunately, it was one turn when I decided to go hard into my Whimsicott against the Primarina, when what I should have done was just sacked off a Mon. I didn't need any more, and then I could have gone into Whimsicott, taken any hit from Primarina because I'm Assault Vest, and knocked it out, and because of that mistake, we did end up losing. As you can see this week, very controversially, no Primarina. Now that is because I feel with the new members added to my team, there is not as much pressure from Primarina, and I also feel with the way that I've designed this team, there is less chances of Primarina being as threatening as it used to be. So, this is basically a team going to break it down for you guys. If you are hyped for this battle, make sure that you like this video, subscribe, all that stuff, but this is how we're going to kick things off. So, Shadow's team has changed a little bit. We actually did a trade with each other, which is kind of good and kind of bad for me at the same time, I guess, for this matchup, because I did give him Victini plus Galvantula, and both of which are very strong against my team. I do have a few checks for Victini and Galvantula respectively, but they are, a very terrifying combo, hence why it was sad to see them go. But at the same time, I'm really happy I picked up Mew, because it is a mon that I know how to use very well. But back to the current situation. So the issue that I was finding when building for this was like, oh man, I don't want to be setting up webs, because webs are really annoying to always deal with, and especially with my team, they're really annoying to deal with, because my only ways of removing hazards is defog, because I wasn't able to get my rapid spinner. So that was really tough, and so I was like, okay, I have to try and mitigate the amount of chances I can give him to get up his webs. And so the first thing I thought of was, I just need to have a lead Weavile set that can stop lead Galvantula. And so that's what this Weavile initially is. That's why Beat Up is there. So Beat Up, if you don't know, basically all healthy allies aid in damaging the target. So all healthy allies, if it's turn 1, I have 5 healthy allies, which means that Beat Up will be able to knock out a Focus Sash Galvantula. That's the main reason I had it, because in mocks I was using Fake Out plus Knockoff, but I found that wasn't as effective, because I can Fake Out Sure, and he can, stay in, and then he would just switch out to like Steelix or something. Like the people I was mocking would do that. Whereas with Beat Up, I can just straight up knock out Galvantula, no webs for the rest of the game, huge monkey off the shoulder. That would be fantastic. That would be a really important thing. So now the next move on here, Pursuit. That was because, as you can see from this Weavile set, I am Focus Sashed, and I'm actually running Pickpocket too. Now this is mainly because I want this Weavile designed to trap Victini. So if Victini goes for U-turn, he brings you... Okay, that's the other thing. You might be wondering, Verd, why is there 0 HP investment and 0 defense investment, like IV-wise? That is because that means a Jolly Victini with max attacks U-turn will always bring me down to my Sash. That is incredibly important, guys. That is... You have no idea how important that is, because that activates my Pickpocket. Now, if you don't know what Pickpocket does, if I have no item, which I won't because my Sash will activate, and Victini makes contact with U-turn, I will steal Victini's item. Now, this can be potentially bad if he's Life Orb. Really unlikely he's going to be Life Orb in this match. I think he's going to be either Scarfed or something like that. And if he is Scarfed, I can not only catch him there, I can go for Pursuit and get off enough damage to his Victini where it can no longer check my Scizor with Bullet Punch, which is fantastic because, honestly, looking at his team, Victini is like his only Scizor check. So, fantastic if that can happen. Plus, then with the Pursuit damage, it's great. Also, if Victini chooses to stay in and go for like V-Create, thinking, well, if you're not sashed, you're just dead. I can, preserve myself, do all those shenanigans. Basically, the aim is to keep Weavile at full, or not at full health, but like, to keep Weavile around to potentially trap Victini at some point. Because if Victini gets weakened by that Pursuit, it really opens the door for Scizor late game. You have no idea. Like, Victini is the main thing stopping Scizor from just sweeping his entire team. But the reason I have Taunt on here is kind of twofold. For one, it is for non-protect Scolipede that comes in against me and tries to go for cheeky things like Substitute or Baton Pass. I can just go straight for the Taunt, lock that thing down, go out to something else. That's great. The main reason I have it is for that Mega Steelix. So like I said, I don't really want Rocks going up. Rocks are just annoying to deal with. Not a huge fan of those. Don't want them up anytime soon. So that's why I'm running the Taunt on Weavile. I can Taunt Mega Steelix and shut down the Rocks being set up. And that is a massive advantage in this game, to be able to shut down those Rocks. Because Rocks are just frustrating for my team. Obviously with D-Knight and Sash Weavile, they're not ideal. And Steelix against Weavile, he knows that I can switch out to things like Seismitoad being bulky or Mew, so there's no reason for him to go for like the Heavy Slam and stuff. His best play is to go for those Rocks, so if I can Taunt him, I shut down the Rock setup, and that's massive. And then finally, running Ice Shard, that is just basically a safety blanket. It's mainly there for Mence, if he does bring it. Mence is obviously just an annoying Pokemon to deal with, so being able to just shard it and get off, like, if, he's not Yachi, I can get off upwards of like 70% with Ice Shard, because Weavile's just a god, because it's adamant. And that's really handy, because I have, like, HP Ice on the Seismitoad, so if I pop his potential, Yachi Berry, then I can, just revenge it that way. Or that Ice Shard damage also just puts him straight into Scizor's BP range. So overall, the Weavile set, it is my designated lead. If he leads Victini, that is amazing. We trap that thing turn 1, and that is so goddamn good. And if he leads Galvantula as I expect, I can just knock it straight out with beat up. If he leads Steelix, I can go for the taunt. The main one that scares me a little bit is if he leads Scolipede. If he leads Scolipede, there is a very good chance he may run Protect just to outspeed me on that first turn. So if that is the case, I may just switch out hard to something different, but we'll kind of get into those scenarios. The next one I want to talk about though is Phil Brooks the Mew. So running a bit of a weird Mew set this week. Not my conventional Mew set that you might expect, but I really do like this set in the matchup. So the main 2 moves I wanted on this Mew was Defog and Roost. Main reason for that was because I needed Defog to get rid of the webs, the spikes, the toxic spikes, any of that stuff. Like, all that's got to go. If he does get them up, which there is a chance he will. Like, this strategy with Weavile is great, but I also understand that there is a chance that it won't work out. So I have this as a contingency plan, just in case. I want Roost there, because obviously recovery is massive here. And the hardest part was choosing 2, like, attacking moves, because I really wanted to run Carmine Mew, but Defog is just so much more important. I didn't want to run Defog on Sizzle, so I also didn't want to run Defog on D-Nice, so Mew kind of got stuck with it, which is fine, like, I don't mind that. And I decided to go with the 2 moves being Aura Sphere and Psyshock. Now, I wanted Psyshock because that would hit things like the Scolipede, the Golbat. It would hit Primarina quite hard. If it is a bulky spread even, it does like 33% min, which is really, really nice because Primarina is an annoying Pokemon for sure, but this Mew is EV'd so that Modest, Expert Belt, Shadow Ball from Primarina is not a 2-hit KO. Now granted, if rocks are up, it does become a 2-hit KO, but like I said, my plan with this Mew is for rocks to really never go up with Steelix. Like, I can pressure Steelix enough, I feel, with my team to the point where it doesn't, like, rocks shouldn't be going up. Or I can just pressure it to the point where, like, anything that Steelix is in against can, like, just kill Steelix, and then I got no issues. So that's the kind of way I was looking at it. But basically, here, I liked Aura Sphere plus Psyshock as well because Aura Sphere hit the Steelix if I needed to. Like, obviously you can get up rocks against Mew, but I can just defog away. So, like, if need be, Mew is there to deal with Steelix as well, because I do have a nice amount of HP. I have Aura Sphere to hit him on that specially defensive side, which is a lot weaker than the defensive side. So that's really nice. Now you might be thinking, well, Verd, you don't really have a way of covering Victini. You have to remember, though, that my plan is to trap Victini with Weavile. There's no real point with me having the coverage on Mew for a Pokemon that my basic game plan is to kill with other things. Plus, factor in that I have Terrakion that can kill it, Dragonite, Seismitoad, and Sizzle that can still go for Bullet Punch, and get off a good amount of damage. So, it's not necessary for you to always run a move that can hit every single Pokemon on your opponent's team, just the ones you need covered. And so for Sizzle, for Mew, all I need is Aura Sphere and Psyshock. But moving on from the EVs as well, I guess 20 speed is just in there to outspeed Primarina outside of Scolipede boost or webs, just a really nice speed tier to hit with Mew, and then the rest was just chucked into special attack just to get a little bit more chip damage. But the 200 HP and 252 Calm Nature lets me live any 2 hits basically from Primarina, which is massive because that thing is a massive threat. And I'm not going to misplay like I did with Galvantula. I can not Galvantula, Whimsicott. I can basically go Mew, effectively fire off 2 Psyshocks against Primarina, which will put it into either Sizzle BP range or Dragonite E-Speed range. Also factoring in that I do have this guy here for this week. So I have a Scarf Terrakion. This is kind of twofold again, that's why I'm bringing this. First and foremost, if webs are up, it speed ties with everything that is not scarfed on his team. So it speed ties with Galvantula, his fastest mon. It'll outspeed non-scarf Victini, there's also is a check to +1 Mence. If he does bring it, I can go into Track, Click, Stone Edge, or Rock Slide. Goodbye, Mence. That's really nice. The other massive reason why I have Terrakion here, funnily enough, is again as another potential Primarina check. So obviously, like, I'm not trying to go over the top about my Primarina checking, but this is more, I didn't bring Terrakion last time to this matchup because I figured he would over prep for it because he had a Mew, but now he doesn't have Mew. His replacement, he does have Hitmontop obviously, but then again, like, Hitmontop's not the biggest threat to a team that has, like, Mew, Dragonite, Mega Sizzle. Like, I'm not really overly concerned with what Hitmontop can do to me there. But, the big thing with Tarak, I guess, is that it can outspeed Primarina at +2 if passed to there by Scolipede. Because with the Choice Scarf, Tarak gets an extra 173 speed, which will take it to 519. Primarina can only reach 480 with +2 speed Timid, so Tarak's always outspeeding that. I can just go straight for the jab, get off some good damage. But yeah, this is kind of to counteract webs, also to counter Mence, and it's just a really handy one in general. Yes, the 252 spread is a little bit lame, but honestly, I need all the speed I can get, like I said, to speed tie with Galvantula, and I don't see any reason why I wouldn't maximize out my attack. My aim with Terrakion here is to just try and punch through walls. It's a pretty standard moveset, pretty standard mon, but honestly, it's something that works in this matchup, definitely from an offensive standpoint. Next up, we have D-Knight. A bit of a different spread for D-Knight this week. I was very tempted, actually, instead of the 72 in HP, to go with 76 in SPDF, but I decided against it because this can also set up on some of his physical mons, like Hitmontop and whatnot, so it's really important in that sense. The basic premise with this D-Knight is, I didn't really use it last time. I didn't get a chance to use it last time because he got up rocks and I didn't deal with it well. But the basic premise is, his best check to D-Knight on his team is either Primarina or Steelix. And if he goes into either one of those, I'm just going to go straight for the Grandinium Z Earthquake. The basic plan is to get D-Knight in at a time when it can take advantage of something. And then after that, you can just go straight up for the ZEQ. Like, against Steelix, Steelix has to try and attack me, or else I can just set up another DD and potentially win. So I go for that Z Earthquake, knock him out. Even if he gets up rocks, like, it doesn't really matter. I have Fly on there, basically for Intimidate Hitmontop to be able to take care of it that way. I don't like being able to have to set up over and over, because if he has Toxic on Hitmontop, which is very likely, being a defensive set, I think this is the best way to kind of deal with that. I was tempted to go with Flying MZ, but Steelix is his only Stealth Rocker, guys. If I can get that thing off the field, that is huge. That's massive. Like, I really need to be able to deal with that thing. So that's why it's the Earthquake, trying to get off as much damage as possible. Also, if he goes into Prim, then I can just go straight, you know, for that ZQ and just blow it all the way back. So Dragonite is a very, very important member here. He has a big job to do in this matchup, so hopefully he can do that. Also, creeping Primarina, so that if I go in against Scully, and he goes, like, if he's in with Scully, doesn't go for an attacking move, he's done one turn, had one speed boost, I go into D-Knight, then that way if he tries a Baton Pass as a Primarina that turn, I can DD up and always outspeed it. Or if he goes to protect that turn and I go for DD, and then he passes out to Primarina, I will be able to DD again, and still be able to outspeed it. It's basically just trying to keep ahead of the 8-ball, I guess, there, so that Primarina never really just comes in for free. That's the kind of plan with this team, is to never really allow Primarina to be a free switch in. Next up we have yet another one of our sweepers. We have like 3 kind of sweepers here, but all of them have very different roles, I suppose. So Dragonite, more importantly, is the premier wall breaker. So basically, he is designed there to come in, and he will get rid of either Steelix or Primarina from the game. That is the kind of premise. I get D-Knight in without rocks being up, I go for my DD, and there is a very good chance I get rid of Primarina, I get rid of Steelix, I get rid of something massive on his team, and that is huge. You might be thinking, well, Verd, if that's the case, why don't you lead with it? Well, I can't really lead with D-Knight against Galvantula unless I'm running Dual Chop, because then I could, like, run Dual Chop instead of Fly and do those moves, but I feel Weavile is much better suited there, because it just prevents webs turn 1, like, why would I not do that? But regardless, D-Knight is kind of there to break through walls, and then once he's broken through a few of these walls, that does open the door as well for Seismitoad. So Seismitoad only really has one check on my opponent's team, and that is Primarina. But like I said, if D-Knight goes for the Grandium Z, it's not really a check anymore. Plus, with all the other mons that I was talking about that can hurt Primarina on the way through, it's not up to Seismitoad to check it, but Seismitoad does have a few advantages up its sleeve. So, for one, I have again crept Seismitoad to the point where I can go for a Rain Dance and outspeed +2 speed Primarina if need be. Doesn't need to be that way, but I have it that way just in case. Also, it's like enough speed that if rain goes up, if webs go up, I can still kind of handle some different things on his team. I won't be able to outspeed everything under rain, but like it mitigates a little bit of the webs. I can still outspeed some things. Move-wise, basically Surf is there because I was going to run Hydro, but I looked at the calcs, and in the rain, Surf does so much to so many things. Like, to a fully SPDF Steelix, I'm doing like 70%, which is ridiculous damage. And I mean, Sludge Wave is just there for Primarina, mainly, just to hit that thing hard. And then I've got HP Ice, just for the Mence. It does like 75% min, and that's just really good chip, because if he's Yachi, it automatically puts him in Weavile Ice Shard range if I keep Weavile around, so that's super duper important. And also just... oh, sorry about that. The special defense investment in this Seismitoad is very, very important. So aside from the special attack and speed being pretty obvious, with that special defense investment, max special attack, modest expert belt Primarina's energy ball will not knock out a Seismitoad after Stealth Rocks. So if he does knock me out, he would have to be Specs. If he is Specs, I can just go into D-Knight, DD up, and wreck some shit. But Seismitoad is designed that I can always take an Energy Ball from Primarina after Rocks. Always. And that is huge because, although I don't have the best special attack and Primarina's got Amazing Speed F, I can chunk it with Sludge Wave to a very good point. Now, the risk with this Seismitoad set that definitely has to be stated is, if I set up Rain for Primarina, that does make it very, very terrifying. So, Seismitoad is not designed to get up Rain until Primarina is weakened enough or is gone, so that it's not a threat to me anymore. That is the main game plan with this Seismitoad, is kind of waiting basically until Primarina is dead to take advantage of the situation. And it's also really nice having Rindo Berry because of Energy Ball Galvantula, Energy Ball on Victini potentially, those kind of things. It's really nice to have coverage for those, and it is a fantastic wall breaker at the same time. So that's the kind of last wall breaker, and then we got the boy. We got the boy, the Elite. The Elite. Now, this Sizzle set I floated around with for a while. I chatted with a few people about it, being like, I really like this set, but I kind of want to discuss a bit further. And I floated around with a few ideas. Initially, it was Spadef to take on Primarina, but then I decided that Mew can do that better. So then, after chatting with another few people and testing it in mocks, the best Sizzle set that was decided on was Offensive SD, because my opponent's team just does not have a lot. It just doesn't have a lot. He might bring Dusclops, but I just don't see it coming, guys. It's a risk for me not to bring a lot to deal with Dusclops, to be fair. I do have Seismitoad that can just set up the Rain and just go for Surfs against it and kind of blow it back because it has to run Rest Talk, Willow, and then Nightshade. But that's the other cool thing about Seismitoad Rain, by the way, is it allows Scizor to potentially set up on some other Mons, like Steelix with Fire Fang. But I don't really see my opponent bringing Dusclops. I would rather run Roost over Knockoff in this situation because this can switch in very easily on things like Hitmontop, take a close combat if it needs to, and just go for a Roost, and just have a lot of advantage that way. I can kind of set up in its face. At +2, Superpower does an obscene amount of damage to a Mega Steelix, and if Mega Steelix doesn't attack me that turn and kill me, he's in a world of pain. Because the thing is, as I was talking about earlier, if Mew goes for the taunt against Steelix, I'm probably just going to go out to my Mew because I can 1v1 Steelix, but there is also the opportunity to go out to the Scizor and take advantage of this even better because I can take the Heavy Slam like a champion, go for my SD. If he has the Fire Fang, I am EV to take it. I can easily take it, even if he's Adamant Nature, I believe I can take it, and then proceed to fire off a Superpower, which is phenomenal because basically I can go for the SD on the potential Fire Fang. The other cool thing is if Scizor is in against something like that, definitely doesn't want to take against the Scizor. Like, say Hitmontops come in, and I can go for an SD, and then he goes out to Steelix, right? And I have enough HP to take the hit, I can SD again, and then I can just kill Steelix and just let him Bullet Punch spam. That's why weakening this Victini is massive. Bullet Punch spam ruins his team. It, just decimates. I was talking to these guys about it, and it's just literally rips him a new one. So that's the basic plan, I guess, is Weavile early game, just kind of disrupting his team a bit, getting rid of some massive threats early. If he brings Galvantula and Victini, I feel like Weavile can take care of both of them. That's its main aim, for sure. If it can do it, if it can get it done, that's great. If it can also get rid of Mence, that's 3 big Pokemon off of his team. And the other mons that I expect, the team I expect him to bring is Victini, Galvantula, Salamence, Mega Steelix, what's it called? Primarina and Scolipede. That's the kind of 6 that I'm assuming is going to be that. Maybe Hitmontop. Maybe Hitmontop over Mence. That's the kind of 50-50 one there. Hitmontop is kind of important for him, but it's not even going to be that big of a threat to me, because, like I said, Scizor can just come in against it so easily, unless it has Natural Gift Fire. But even if it does, I can double out to Seismitoad against it and just play it safe. It's not even that big of a risk, to be fair. And he burns it. He only gets 1 chance to use it, so I can just kind of play around it that way. But yeah, Weavile just kind of disrupts early game. Mew can just take hits. That's the other reason. I forgot to explain this. Tangerberry is there for obviously Scolipede plus Galvantula, taking hits from both of them. Hitting him up with Psyshocks is massive. It can get rid of Galvantula. It can get rid of Scolipede to an extent, so that's just huge. Tarax there is a potential cleaner, but also another disruptor in a sense. Like if Mence comes in and I feel like it's going to DD, I can just go hard into Tarak and be like, nope, gonna shut that down straight away. D-Knight is there to just break through. Like he's probably my main wall breaker in this team. He literally just, he could DD up and just smash through some things. Like there's obviously mons that I can't really set up against, but at the same time there are some that I can. Like the other cool thing is if he's like an expert build Victini, and he goes for like Glaciate on my Dragonite and I go for a DD, I will happily just click +1 E-Speed, because if Victini does that and I know that it's not locked into a move, then I can just proceed to go into Weavile, trap Victini, get rid of it, and that opens the door for Sizzle to sweep. Plasma is great, I think, just in general, and then obviously Sizzle is the... I'm going to say Sizzle's the win con, because literally it can get up an SD late game and just kind of win the game for me. So, massive, massive factor for my team. Really hoping you can put in work, but that is basically it, guys. I don't want to ramble on too much, because you've been sitting here for 26 minutes, but basically, I may split this up into 2 different videos, or I'll just do the battle video. If you guys enjoy this kind of in-depth analysis, kind of look at the team, let me know, because this is how I kind of like to discuss it, more or less, but I may have gone into a bit too much depth. Who knows? I am going to include this with the battle, so it's all going to be in the one big package, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we're going to jump into the battle now. Alright guys, so here we are with the match. Now, upon just looking at this team, basically everything I predicted to come is there. The only thing maybe that was a little bit different, well not really, it's basically the exact same team we brought last time. I was thinking maybe he'd bring Mence over Hitmontop this time, just because Hitmontop didn't really do that much work for him, and you know, Mence is just such a threat, but he decided against that, which is, you know, fine by me. I much prefer to go up against Hitmontop with this team than Mence, so that's cool. Looking at the way that he's kind of designed it, I am leading to believe that he's just going to lead Galvantula. I was a little bit worried about the potential lead Scully. If it's nice and bulky, I might not be able to break its sub with beat up, which is a little bit worrying. And also lead Lix is annoying, even though I can taunt it turn 1. I have to be really careful with my taunt turns about where I play around it, but luckily for me he does lead with the Galvantula. Now, granted, I did this battle at like 8 in the morning my time, I would say, about 8 in the morning, so morning Verd got a bit terrified on this turn. Basically, I had completely forgotten that beat up hit 6 times. It also counted in Weavile, and I thought for a second it only hit 5 times. So you're gonna see me on the turn I click beat up here, as he says in, have a mini heart attack, as when it hits 5 times I see it doesn't kill, and then the 6th hit comes around, and I'm like, bless, okay, fantastic. So, what this means for the battle is, now there are no webs, which is fantastic. It means the only way Primarina's outspeeding like anything on my team is if he gets a speed pass from Scolipede. So realistically, all I have to do is speed pressure, is just pressure the Scully. So I decided to do a couple of cheeky plays here. The first one was that Hitmontop is most likely going to be going for a fighting move here, if anything, to try and get rid of my Weavile. It's a massive threat to his team. So I am just going to go straight out to my Mew, as he does reveal Mark Punch, which is fine. Now, I didn't recover there, so it does show that I'm kind of buried. He may assume Tanger, he may assume something else, I don't really know, but on this turn, I could just go for the Aura Sphere, because I did feel like Steelix was coming in, but at the same time, looking at the way that his team is set up, I much preferred going out to Toad. Because if he goes out to Lix, then Surf from Toad to fully Spadef Lix is a 2-hit KO, which is fantastic, so even if he gets up Rocks, it comes with him having his Steelix weakened to the point where Sizzle can just take it out with Superpower, and then all I would need to do is weaken Victini, and Sizzle can basically sweep through his entire team. So, overall, that sounded like a pretty good deal to me. Rocks would be annoying for sure, but I do still have Defog on Mew that I can use quite easily, because he brought things like Hitmontop, and even Primarina that I can stay in against, judging on their spreads, and be able to beat. So this turn I do just click Surf. As he clicks Scully, I'm assuming he expected me to go for Rocks there, which is, you know, fair enough. But Surf there is doing a monumental amount of damage, and I was considering going for Rain Dance, but at the same time, it wasn't worth it, because if it revealed Swift Swim, then Primarina came in and basically got a kill, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. I'd rather kind of keep things preserved, so I take the Mega Horn like a champion, go for the Surf, and down goes Scully. So what this means now is that 2 Mons last game that gave me massive headaches are now both out of the way. So there's no webs, there's no other hazards, the only one that can go up is Rocks, and he can't speed pass into Primarina. So that's massive. So he goes into Teeny, I figure he's either going to be a Scarf Teeny or he's going to be a mixed attacking, just because they work the best, I guess, against my team. So I go to my SPDF Mew, because I know Mew can easily take a hit, as it goes for Energy Ball and gets off a clean 16. So I figure, you've just seen your Victini do 16% with an Energy Ball, you know maybe Blue Flare's doing 25 to 30%, but I can live it, so I decided to go hard Seismitoad, because, yes, he did just go for Energy Ball, but in my mind, if he's Scarfed, he's definitely switching, and if he is mixed attacking, I want to see if this Victini has V-Create, because this Mew is specially defensive. It can take on Victini quite easily here, so it's more just scouting to see if he has the mixed attacking V-Create to kind of catch that SPDF Mew off guard, but he actually instead goes for Blue Flare, and that's really good to see. Like, the other reason why I was happy going Toad here and sacking it was, as I said earlier in my team talk, it allows Weavile to come in and do its cheeky shenanigans, so I am more than happy with Seismitoad dying here. It was more of a scout. The other thing too, because of Seismitoad's speed investment, if he had gone for V-Create, then Seismitoad would have outsped, and I could have basically just clicked Sludge Wave if I wanted to, because then Prim just comes in, but I could have also just clicked like Surf plus Sludge Wave, and done half to Prim, which would have been really nice. Again, putting it in range of things like D-Knight and Sizzle BP is really nice, but what he actually decides to do here is he doubles out the Hitmontop, which I found very interesting. I guess maybe he didn't know Seismitoad's item, and so he was worried about potential Custap Berry? Maybe? I don't really know, but he decides to preserve Victini there, and I'm like, fair enough. I guess it's because he also realized that if Victini killed Seismitoad, I got to go out to Weavile and pressure Teeny that way. As it turns out, he actually is a Colbertini, so that would have actually turned out pretty bad for me in that situation. Luckily I have Sash, but would have been a bit awkward. Anyway, I'm just going to double out to Sizzle here on the potential BP. He actually goes for EQ, I guess, just sure. I mean, it's probably the best way to hit Mew, but at this stage, I was about to be like, haha, SD button, game's over. Then I remember there's a full health Victini in the back, so I decided to roost here on the off chance he tries to just stay in and do some shenanigans or whatnot, or if he does double out to something else, I can keep my Sizzle nice and healthy to bring it against Hitmontop next time, as he does go Steelix, and I'm like, okay, if there is ever a time for this Steelix to go for either Fire Fang or Rocks, it is now. So I decided to go hard out to D-Knight, because if he goes for Rocks, I get up my DD, and I can start putting in some massive work against his team. And if he goes for Fire Fang, yes, when multi-scale gets broken, but if he doesn't have Ice Fang, he can't knock me out, I get the DD regardless. So I go D-Knight, he megas up, he goes for Rocks, and I'm like, perfect. I'm gonna just get up my DD, and he goes for Heavy Slam, gets a crit after multi-scale, still doesn't do that much, and I can go straight for that Groundinium Z, and like, that's a very bulky Steelix to not die from that. So D-Knight's able to knock out Steelix, which is fantastic, and now, like, it's not looking good for him, because I can just kind of fly up. He misses Ice Beam, and the Pokemon that 6-0'd me last time is destroyed. And at this stage, funnily enough, it was looking like a potential 6-0, but probably wasn't going to happen. I decided to fly up here and knock out the Hitmontop, and at this point, unfortunately, I cannot knock out Victini, and I don't necessarily want to choke this game away by trying to, because if he's a Scarfatini, then he's just going to knock me out regardless, and then I can just go out to my corresponding check to that. Like, if he goes for Glaciate, I can go like Weavile or Sizzle. If he goes for potentially like a Bolt Strike, I still have Seismitoad in the back that can actually live Rocks and then Bolt Strike, so there was no real way for me to, like, I don't want to throw this game away, so I just go for an EQ. I know it's not going to kill Victini, but it will put it in range where even with the Cobbleberry, it can't live Weavile's beat up. So go for EQ, does a tremendous amount to this Victini, as he does knock me out with Glaciate, which is fine. What I can do here is now go to Weavile, get itself another kill this season. I believe it's up to 14 kills. But yeah, fantastic effort there, and we actually pick up a 5-0 victory over Shadow. So that was massive for us. That now puts our differential back in the positive. We're going from -2 to +3 at 5-4. So the comeback is definitely on, guys. We have 3 weeks remaining. Next week we have Halu, coach of the New Jersey Licky Lickies. Basically, if we can secure a victory in that game, there is a very good chance of us holding on to playoffs contention, because the next closest person to us is 2 of them. There's Licky Lickies, and there is Andrew, or Muse the Best, with the Portland City Trailblazers, both at 3 and 5 right now, so we're at 5 and 4. So Unless they're both playing each other, if either of them lose their next games, then it's looking really solid for us. We did see that 2 buff. I'd love to have a 2-game cushion for when I get to play Yost and Turk, because I know those are both going to be very tough games. But judging on how I played my rematch against Shadow, I feel that in my rematch against both of those guys, I've got a very good chance of potentially, I wouldn't say it's causing an upset, because I mean I should have beaten Yost last time, but definitely causing an upset about Turk. That would be fantastic. But regardless, I feel pretty good about the team now. These changes have been fantastic. Like I said in the earlier thing, we will no longer have Rotom for the rest of our games. So we're playing the New Jersey Licky Lickies. Then I believe we play the Angels of Bahian, and then we finish with the Toronto Luxray. So a couple of big games left to go. I just need to secure the victory next week against Halu, and then hope that maybe Andrew loses his game, and then if I have that 2-game buffer with a good differential, I should be able to just lock up playoffs. But that's good enough for me, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I did go a bit more in depth into the team analysis, but yeah, I feel really good with how the prep went. Weavile put in work. You know, I believe it's now second on the kill ladder, I believe, with 14 kills, just 1 behind Mega Latios. So it's been putting in a tremendous amount of work for me this season, and I'm very happy with it. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And yeah, we're going to kind of keeping on currently 5-4 with a +3 differential, and potentially playoffs bound if we keep this momentum going. But yeah, I'm TheVerd. I'm out this bitch.